Is a convicted murderer walking free? Technically, yes. Cyntoia Brown was just 16 years old when she was sentenced to life in prison for killing 43-year-old Johnny Michael Allen. She did so because he was soliciting her for her body. And as a teenage victim of sex trafficking, her life was in grave danger. Cyntoia Denise Brown was born on January 29, 1988 in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, to her mother, Georgina Mitchell. During Georgina's pregnancy, she drank alcohol, and after giving birth, she started using harder substances. As a result, she was not in a place to care for her child, and ultimately, Cyntoia was put up for adoption at 8 months old. Cyntoia was adopted into a great family who showered her with love, but even still, Cyntoia was no stranger to the juvenile detention system. In 2004, Cyntoia was officially out on her own and left for Nashville. Sadly, being a teenage girl alone on the street does not lend itself to people treating you with kindness or respect. Cyntoia was taken advantage of by men despite her being a minor. While she was in Nashville, Cyntoia met a pimp by the name Cutthroat. Cyntoia's service provided enough funds for her and Cutthroat to stay in the in-town suites. Cutthroat was known to be violent and made Cyntoia's life miserable. He threatened her, pulled a firearm on her, and forced himself on her multiple times. On August 6, 2004, Cutthroat forced Cyntoia to meet up with 43-year-old John Allen in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Disgustingly enough, John was a youth pastor and had started a youth ministry for the homeless in the area. The two met in a Sonic drive-thru parking lot, and John offered $150 to sleep with Cyntoia. According to Cyntoia, the two went back to John's home, where the terrifying interaction began. He spoke to her, bragging about his accomplishments, complaining that women were only after him for his money, and showed off multiple firearms. While the two were lying in bed, John repeatedly touched Cyntoia, even though she did not want to engage. At one point, he turned on his side, and Cyntoia believed he was reaching for his weapon. By the end of the interaction, John was lifeless with a bullet in the back of his head. Prosecutors tried to say that Cyntoia offed John while he was asleep, stealing money and driving away in his truck. They argued that she intended to kill John and steal his money from the very beginning. The prosecutor said, "I think she did what she wanted to do, and unfortunately, on this night, what she wanted to do was kill him and take his stuff." After the incident, Cyntoia took $172 from John's wallet and 2 firearms and drove his truck to a nearby Walmart. She left the vehicle and flagged down an SUV to take her back to the in-town suites. Cyntoia remained firm on her reasoning: self-defense. She feared for her life. She was 16 years old, just trying to protect herself. Her reasoning for taking the money from Allen's wallet? She was terrified to return to her violent pimp with nothing. Cyntoia was arrested and charged with homicide, aggravated robbery, handgun possession, and criminal impersonation. She kept her story straight the entire time. It was self-defense. The police didn't care that she was a victim of sex trafficking or a teenage girl terrified for her life. They did not care that she was forced to give up her body. They didn't want to help her. Instead, they just wanted to catch a teenage killer. In court, Cyntoia was tried as an adult and again remained solid on her reasoning: self-defense. While the prosecution tried to label Cyntoia as a murderer, the defense was confident in their work. Multiple people were called to the witness stand, including an old girlfriend of John's. This woman said she was in his home one time and did not want to have intercourse, but Allen proceeded to take advantage of her against her will. At the end of the trial, Cyntoia Denise Brown was found guilty of first-degree murder, felony murder, and aggravated robbery. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole until the year 2055. While Cyntoia was serving her life sentence, she accomplished a lot. For starters, in 2005, she completed her GED. In 2015, she received an associate's degree with a 4.0 GPA from Lipscomb University. And in 2019, she graduated with her bachelor's degree and a 4.0 GPA from the same university. She believed she survived simply by the grace of God. Thankfully, with ever-changing times and celebrity media attention, Cyntoia's story was out there for all to hear. Rihanna posted to her social media, "Something is horribly wrong when the system enables these rapists and the victim is thrown away for life." Kim Kardashian tweeted out, "The system has failed. It's heartbreaking to see a young girl sex trafficked, then when she has the courage to fight back, is jailed for life. I called my attorneys yesterday to see what can be done to fix this." Cyntoia had the chance to speak at her clemency hearing and practically begged for a second chance. She said that whichever way the board voted, she would respect it, but that she had done so much in such a short time to help young kids. She could never make up for what she had done, but hoped they would show her mercy. Thankfully, people showed up and showed out for Cyntoia. Friends, fellow inmates, prison employees, and Lipscomb University faculty all testified in favor of clemency. They believed Cyntoia had turned her life around, and in fact did not deserve to be in prison in the first place. The board was completely split. After thousands of messages, calls, letters, and social media pressure, Governor Bill Haslam was encouraged to grant this poor woman clemency. He went on to say Cyntoia Brown committed, by her own admission, a horrific crime at the age of 16. Yet imposing a life sentence on a juvenile that would require her to serve at least 51 years before even being eligible for parole consideration is too harsh, especially in light of the extraordinary steps Ms. Brown has taken to rebuild her life. Transformation should be accompanied by hope.